Do men need fragrances? No. Is that the end of this video? No, let's keep going. No, we don't need fragrances, but they're nice to have. And with that, I can easily admit that, yes, this title is a little bit hyperbolic. Every man does not need fragrances and every man does not need these fragrances, but hear me out. This video is more than just about fragrances. It's about function. It's about specific scenarios where you wear certain types of fragrances that fit those scenarios. So in that way, the categories, the scenarios that I'm going to present to you are more important than the fragrances I'm going to fill them with. These fragrances are ones that I would wear for these scenarios. And if you do trust my taste or you're looking for some new stuff to check out, then yeah, they could serve as recommendations for you. And for that reason, I will link to everything in the description. But I really just want to make this video to keep the wheels turning, to have you guys thinking about what type of fragrance will work for what type of scenario. Now, if you don't really care for function, then you're not really going to care for this video, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. And if you didn't know, this is not the first of this type of video that I've made. This is actually the 7th. Yeah, this is the 7th one. We've done 3 designer, we've done 3 niche, and this is the 4th niche installment. You guys have seemed to have loved it over the years, so I figured why not revive it again for 2025. And if you guys want to see a designer version of this, let me know by liking, commenting, and subscribing. I'd be happy to throw something together for you. Let's dive right into it. Real quick, I'm going to get the categories out of the way first, and then we'll be filling them as we go. Everyday, casual day warm, sophisticated day warm, sophisticated evening warm, date warm, casual day cool, sophisticated day cool, sophisticated evening cool, date cool, and showstopper. Again, I'll explain them as we go. The first category, as I said, is everyday, and this is a fragrance that is what it sounds like. You can wear this anytime, anywhere, on any day, all year long. Doesn't matter. If you want to call it a signature scent, you can call it that. If you want to call it a dumb reach, you can call it that too. Whether it's going to be noticeable to people or whether it kind of blends into the background, it does have a magic like that. This is from a Turkish brand known as Régalien Istanbul. They call this Hammam. I've talked about this fragrance a few times over the past year, and this may not be for everyone just because of how simple it is. It smells like one of the most luxurious, authentic bars of soap that you could ever imagine. It is soapy, but almost like sudsy, like bubble bath vibes. So clean and fresh, a little musky. I don't remember all the notes in here, but it doesn't matter. It smells like you're in a luxurious bath. So clean. It can kind of blend into your natural smell, your natural vibe, so it may not come across as you sprayed something on. It might just smell like you smell clean, which is fine. It may depend on the scenario you're in, but again, it's so versatile. There's never a terrible time to smell clean. If you want a very specific and authentic way of doing it, then maybe check this one out. It's super high quality, so it's not super cheap. It's a little bit pricey, but worth a sample if you're into soapy scents. Let me know if you happen to have tried this one already. I think it's a great everyday wear. That is Hammam. Casual day warm. It is what it sounds like. It's a warm day. You feel like being casual. Maybe you're going to be at home. Maybe you're going to be out, meeting a friend, running an errand, going for a walk, maybe even working out or something. But during the warmer months, when you're not going to be super serious, this is quite perfect. Pretty new to my collection. I've worn it once and I'm really enjoying this stuff more than I thought I would. From Kilian, it is Blue Moon Ginger Dash. I'm a little late to the game on this one. I know it came out within the past couple years. People had their piece to say about it. I think it's been cloned a handful of times since it's come out. I don't know anything about the clones, but I'm just now coming to it and I'm really enjoying it. Kilian did send this over to me. When I first smelled it in my first impressions video, it smelled like a 1990s men's fragrance. I just thought this reminds me of the 90s, of men's designer fragrances in the 90s. And while it is kind of basic smelling, it was kind of made for me. This is the type of basic bro scent that I like. I think the reason why is just because it does have an authentic feel to it. And also it is a little nostalgic, but what this smells like is kind of a gin and tonic. It is technically vodka tonic, but I get a gin feel. There's this sharp green mintiness. It's cooling. It's very fresh and icy. It smells cold, like quite literally. There's something very musky about it. Maybe some ambroxan back there. It does carry this vibe of a 1990s men's cologne, but done with high quality. Honestly, the way it's put together, it smells more elevated in quality, and the boozy element of it gives it some personality. So it's not just some generic aquatic fragrance. Nothing wrong with that. Using vodka, which again comes off a little bit like gin to me, and that tonic feel, it feels like a fizzy drink with some citrus, almost like a lime, but it might be lemon. It's really well done for what it is, and it is a perfect casual warm day fragrance. And also, I totally forgot to mention what should be the most obvious element, which is ginger. I still have yet to really get a strong ginger presence from this. Maybe you do, but on my skin, not really gingery. I don't get that warm, spicy zing that I typically expect out of it, but maybe it'll come out later. Sophisticated day warm. Maybe you're going to work. It doesn't mean you work in an office or some kind of business environment, but maybe you just want to have a professional feel. It doesn't matter what you're doing. When the sun is up, it's warm out. You want something fresh, but you want something a little bit more put together, a little bit more refined, something that people can take a little bit more seriously. I think this is a perfect fragrance to fill that spot, at least for me. From Acqua di Parma, it's called Cipresso di Toscana, Cypress from Tuscany, or Tuscan Cypress. And this fragrance has actually been around a while. I feel like it's been at least 20 years or so. It kind of smells like that. It does have this maybe early 2000s, late 90s feel, but still pretty timeless. This smells like green pine, green, fresh, woody pine. I will warn you that some of you might find this smelling a little bit pine sol-y. If you grew up around pine sol, you might be reminded of that, but I do think it's well done. I do think the freshness of it, the green quality of it, the coniferous feel, it's so invigorating. It's so natural smelling. I love the dry woodiness that it brings. It's very masculine, almost has a fougere feel. However, it's kind of light. I find that it might last 5 hours on my skin. Definitely not an all day wear. So if you're looking for all day wear, you're not going to find it here. So I wouldn't buy it looking for that and then get disappointed that it doesn't do that, because that's not the function of this fragrance. This is, again, handful of hours. You want to smell fresh, clean, and professional. This is a great one to consider. Let me know if you enjoy this one. Cipresso di Toscana. All right, sophisticated evening warm. It's summertime, but the sun has gone down. It's evening time. You're ready to dress your best. You want to come across grown. You want to come across with a sophistication to you, with a refinement, with, again, a put together quality, something that smells masculine, something that smells like you put some intention into getting yourself ready to leave the house and come out into the world that evening. And one that I love for this is Molton Brown Recharge Black Pepper, and this is the Eau de Parfum version. There is an Eau de Toilette. I don't know anything about it. I haven't tried it, but I have this one, and man, this stuff just, it smells like a man. Maybe a little bit mature, but not old-fashioned, not vintage smelling. It just smells like a guy who's got it figured out. I might wear this with nice fitting collared shirt and some nice fitting slacks, some nice shoes. I want people to take me seriously. I want a sophisticated allure. This has that. It is spicy. It is warm. There's something very mildly sweet about it. I get this culinary feel, like a cooking herb, but ultimately it does remind me a little bit of like this cousin to something like John Varvatos Vintage. If you know that fragrance, you might like this if you like that. No guarantees, but I am kind of reminded of that type of scent profile where the blend just comes together really well. You can't really decipher a whole lot outside of the black pepper, which really stands out in this one. So you do have to like some black pepper. It is peppery, but in the air, it has this, again, quasi-sweet, ambery, almost like leathery, woody warmth that just kind of envelops and smells amazing in the air. Very sophisticated. Molton Brown Recharge Black Pepper. All right, for date warm, I do typically think of a date as happening in the evening time. It doesn't have to, but just for the sake of this video, for this function, I'm going to say evening time date. You want something that smells kind of fresh and also a little bit sweet. At least I do. This is what I would pick. And the reason why is because I want something clean. I want something that feels like, yes, I cleaned myself, I bathed, I got myself ready to be close to people, to be close to someone. For me, it's my wife. For you, it's whoever. But I want a little bit of an allure. I want some sweetness to it that lingers, that catches the nose. There's something about sweetness in the air that is just very captivating. And with this one, I'm going with Notte del Chianti Anima Libera. You may have never heard of this brand. They are based out of Italy, maybe the Tuscany region. Oh man, there's something about this fragrance that smells a little bit like a mainstream scent profile, or reminds me of something like La Nuit de l'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. But if you could refine that fragrance into a very natural smelling niche style fragrance, so to speak, then that is what I would say this is. Now this has some fruity citruses, it has some fresh spices, and it also has some warm vanilla, ambery, labdanum type ingredients that are warm and ambery and sweet, and that is what I think catches the air. So you do have this top of, again, a citrusy, more fruity, spicy, fresh profile that does have some sweetness to it that comes out a little bit more as it dries. Very smooth, something that is not overpowering but not shy. It will will stay on the skin a while. It does linger in the air in a beautiful way with a good richness that's not overpowering. I think it's perfect for a date when it's a little bit warm, but it can also be worn any other time of the year. That is Notte del Chianti Anima Libera. Casual day cool. This is a little bit of an odd fragrance because it's pretty specific, and I was trying to think, could this be worn in other scenarios? Yeah, it could be worn more dressed up. It could be worn in the evening time, doesn't matter. But I just chose it for this because it has a chill vibe. There's something about it that feels relaxing. So it feels like it does suit a daytime casual feel. This is from Ramon Monegal. It's called Siesta, and it's characterized by this warm, sweet, kind of gooey honey lemon, almost like a honey lemon tea in a way. There's this iris feel that's a little powdery, kind of fills out the scent, makes it pretty dense and rich. I find this fragrance to be very, again, specific. There is this personality to it that feels authentic. It feels clear. There's a lot of clarity to it, and it's also quite strong. So you don't need a whole lot of it. And because it's so strong, I think it's something that can smell a little bit bad if you overspray it. So be warned with that. But this is something I would totally consider wearing for a casual day when it's a little bit chilly. Sophisticated day cool. This is actually my scent of the day. I wasn't even sure if I was going to put it in this video, but after wearing it today, I realized this is actually a perfect addition. And from Ormonde, Jayne, it's called Kashmir. This is a fragrance characterized by lots of warm spices. Very captivating when you first spray it on. It does have a floral heart, but it doesn't come across as overly floral. It just has a softness to it. And it does have a very smooth woody base that I think has cashmere in it, and it feels like cashmere. It feels like a cashmere scarf. I'm actually wearing a cashmere beanie. I love this beanie.
And I'm only wearing a beanie because I need a haircut. If you know, you know.
But the softness of it, the smoothness of it, this has that vibe as it sits on your skin, as it sits in the air. It just kind of hangs, it lingers. I find that it performs pretty well. I've had it on my skin for probably 7 hours or more. I'm still smelling it around me after just 2 external sprays, 1 internal spray. If you want a sophisticated vibe, if you're going to be dressing up and again going to work or going anywhere where you want to be taken seriously, this is something that doesn't smell like everything else out there, but it's still really easy to understand and easy to enjoy. That is Kashmir from Ormonde, Jayne. Let me know if you dig this one. If you haven't tried it, once again, links in the description. Sophisticated evening cool. Really watch out where you wear this one. I think this one could be overpowering. I wore this recently during the evening in a sophisticated environment, but I think I sprayed it once or twice too many times. No one said anything, but I was sweating. I was feeling like this is a little bit too much. This is really taking up the oxygen in the room around me. From Xerjoff, it's Richwood. Beautiful scent based around a lot of patchouli. There is a damp patchouli that is a little bit fresh, kind of powdery, sweet. There might be some sandalwood, some vanilla. There's a warmth here, but overall it's not too heavy in terms of the scent personality. There is an overall kind of fresh woody feel that is sweet, but it is just strong. There's a richness here. There's a density to this powdery, kind of fresh, damp, earthy, sweet sandalwood fragrance. It just smells like class. It smells like money. It's something that I think works beautifully for a sophisticated evening. 2 sprays, maybe 3 max. I think you're good to go. Let me know if you dig this one. I know it's pretty pricey, maybe as far as Xerjoff's goes, so sample it first. I'll link to what I can find down below. That is Richwood. For a date cool. I want something that's pretty sweet, something that is alluring, but something that doesn't smell too juvenile, too boyish. Again, that's just me. Whatever you put in this spot is up to you, but for me, I put something like Mind Game's Mentor in this spot. This is one of their newer offerings, and this is this caramelized ambery oud, maybe with some coffee. It's the smoothest sweet ambery oud I think I've ever tried. The caramel comes off a little bit delectable, kind of mouth-watering. It just smells amazing in the air. It does smell a little bit similar to something like Black Phantom from Kilian, but quite different. Again, maybe a cousin. Doesn't quite have the same edge that Black Phantom can have. It can have this harshness to it, which I happen to really like. This is smooth edges all the way. It's really, really easy to get next to. It smells expensive. It smells seductive. Definitely something that's great for when the sun goes down and you are meeting with your special someone and you want them to like how you smell, and you don't need too much of it. Once again, you don't need to smoke them out because you already have their attention. They're going to be in your vicinity. You don't need to wear a ton of fragrance to let them know that you smell good. Just a couple sprays and you're good to go. That is Mentor from Mind Games. And finally, the showstopper. This is a fragrance that everyone may not like. It's a fragrance that is meant to get attention in a way that most people have not experienced before. So you, the wearer, need to make sure you like this. Otherwise, this is a fragrance that might wear you. And you need to be considerate of other people because of the scent personality that this fragrance has. It might be off-putting if you overspray it. So you've been warned, wear with caution. And this is a fragrance I didn't even think I'd be considering for this option because I didn't love it when I first tried it. But something's changed about it. I think in the bottle it sat a bit. I haven't really sprayed it and it's gotten more beautiful. From Amouage, King Blue. Didn't love this when it came out. It smelled like barnyard oud to me. Kind of fecal, but it's changed. It's like this warm, sweet incense that does smell kind of blue. It's weird. It's hard to describe. Like blue haze or blue smoke with this very soft but present woody oud in there, some resins. It is kind of typical Amouage, but there's something beautiful and very unique about this fragrance. Very natural. I still will say you have to like oud to appreciate this. So make sure you like oud, or at the very least make sure you sample first. Don't blind buy it. But man, this is a standout fragrance. It is a bit of a showstopper. I would wear this in an elegant scenario when I know that I'm gonna have to vie for attention, and this is a great way to do it. And I don't need to spray much to do it because the people that I meet, who I might come close to, maybe hug or whatever, they will notice. I don't need to grab people across the room. I'll see them when I see them, and when I do see them, they'll smell this, they'll get a whiff, maybe they'll say something, maybe they won't, but I know I smell good, and that affects my confidence and affects my memorability. It all feeds back into itself, and it's not all about the fragrance. This is just a piece. That is King Blue from Amouage. Let me know what you think. All right, once again, if you want to see another designer installment of this, let me know down in the comments. If you haven't tried these fragrances, once again, they're linked down in the description, and thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. I'll see you in the next one.